The freezing wind howled through the pines like a betrayed lover's scream, whipping young Alex Harper's face as he stumbled alone in the endless Colorado wilderness, his father's parting words echoing like a death sentence. "You're no son of mine." At just 17, with nothing but a thin jacket and a backpack of lies he'd been forced to hide, Alex collapsed against a jagged rock, his heart shattering not from the cold, but from the raw betrayal of the man who was supposed to protect him. In that moment, as darkness swallowed the mountains, he whispered a vow into the void. If he survived this hell, he'd return one day, not for revenge, but to tear down the facade that had destroyed his world. Alex's breaths came in ragged gasps, each one a battle against the encroaching night. The Rocky Mountains loomed like indifferent giants, their snow-capped peaks indifferent to the human drama unfolding in their shadows. Harlan Harper, the esteemed Colorado state senator known for his fiery speeches on family values and traditional morals, had driven his only son deep into this unforgiving terrain under the pretense of a father-son camping trip. But when Alex had mustered the courage to come out, confessing his love for a boy at school named Tyler, Harlan's face had twisted into something monstrous. "You're an abomination," he'd snarled, shoving Alex out of the truck and speeding away, leaving tire tracks in the mud as the only farewell. Abandoned with no phone, no map, and only the clothes on his back, Alex's mind raced through waves of panic and disbelief. How could his own father, the man who'd taught him to fish in the crystal-clear streams of Aspen and cheered at his soccer games in Denver, do this? Harlan had always been a pillar in their small-town community of Evergreen, a place where pickup trucks outnumbered hybrids and church steeples pierced the sky. But beneath the senator's polished exterior lay a storm of repression, fueled by his political ambitions and a secret Alex would only uncover years later. As the temperature plummeted, Alex forced himself to move, his sneakers sinking into the damp earth. He remembered survival tips from Boy Scouts: find shelter, start a fire, conserve energy. Scrambling under a fallen log, he huddled against the bark, his body shivering uncontrollably. Tears froze on his cheeks as memories flooded him. Stolen kisses with Tyler behind the school bleachers, the electric thrill of first love that made him feel alive in a world that demanded he pretend otherwise. Now, that world had cast him out like trash. Hours blurred into a haze of hunger and fear. By dawn, Alex's stomach growled ferociously, but he pushed on, following a faint trail that snaked downward toward what he hoped was civilization. Thorns tore at his jeans, and his hands bled from grasping roots for balance. He thought of his mother, Elena, who had died of cancer when he was 10, leaving him with a father who buried his grief in work and whiskey. "She'd want you to fight," Alex muttered to himself, her gentle voice a phantom in his mind. Luck, or perhaps fate, intervened when Alex stumbled upon a ranger station at the edge of a meadow. His vision blurred from exhaustion. He pounded on the door until it creaked open. There stood Jordan Reyes, a 25-year-old wildlife ranger with sun-kissed skin, dark curls peeking from under his cap, and eyes like the deep forest he protected. Jordan's initial shock melted into action. He wrapped Alex in a blanket, fed him hot soup, and radioed for help. But as authorities arrived, Alex begged Jordan not to call his father. "He did this to me," Alex whispered, his voice breaking. Jordan's jaw tightened, a flicker of understanding in his gaze. He'd faced his own battles coming out in a conservative family from Albuquerque. The next days were a whirlwind. Child services got involved, but Harlan, with his influence, spun a tale of Alex running away after an argument. The senator's lawyers swooped in, painting Alex as a troubled teen. Fearing more rejection, Alex chose foster care over returning home, landing in a group home in Boulder. There, he pieced together a new life, attending therapy sessions where he unpacked the trauma, learning to embrace his identity amid supportive counselors. Yet, the wilderness had scarred him deeply. Nightmares of abandonment plagued his sleep, and trust became a fragile thing. Jordan visited often, their conversations evolving from formal check-ins to late-night talks by the fireplace. Jordan shared stories of his own journey, disowned by his parents at 18, finding solace in nature's impartial embrace. "The mountains don't judge," Jordan said one evening, his hand brushing Alex's in a moment that sparked something electric. As months turned to a year, Alex turned 18, aging out of the system with a high school diploma and a burning resolve. He enrolled in community college, studying environmental science, drawn to the wild places that had both broken and saved him. Jordan became his anchor, their friendship blossoming into tentative romance. A first date hiking in the foothills, where Jordan's kiss under a canopy of aspens tasted like freedom and home. But shadows lingered. News of Harlan's rising career, now eyeing a gubernatorial run, stirred old wounds. Alex heard whispers of his father's anti-LGBT rhetoric, speeches decrying moral decay that twisted like knives. Little did Alex know, Harlan harbored a lie, a hidden affair from years ago with a man, buried to protect his image, the same hypocrisy that drove him to abandon his son. In quiet moments, Alex journaled his pain, transforming it into poetry that captured the raw ache of rejection and the tentative bloom of self-love. He volunteered at LGBTQ youth centers in Denver, sharing his story to light paths for others. "Survival isn't just about the body," he'd tell wide-eyed teens. "It's about reclaiming your soul." As Alex grew stronger, so did his bond with Jordan. They moved in together in a cozy cabin near Rocky Mountain National Park, where mornings were filled with coffee and shared dreams. Jordan's steady presence healed fractures Alex didn't know existed, their love a quiet revolution against the world's cruelties. Yet, the past simmered. One evening, scrolling through news, Alex saw Harlan announcing his campaign, flanked by a picture-perfect family he'd fabricated, remarried to a socialite, with stepchildren posing as the ideal unit. Rage ignited in Alex's chest. "He erased me," he told Jordan, who held him tight. "But I won't let him erase the truth." Years flowed like the rivers carving through Colorado's canyons, shaping Alex into a man of quiet strength and unyielding purpose. Now 25, he had traded the vulnerability of his youth for a career as an environmental advocate, working with nonprofits to protect the very wilderness that had once threatened to consume him. His days were spent lobbying in Denver's state capitol, ironically crossing paths with echoes of his father's influence, and his nights wrapped in Jordan's arms, where love mended the remnants of old scars. Jordan, at 33, had risen to lead ranger at the park, his passion for conservation mirroring Alex's. Their relationship was a tapestry of shared adventures, backpacking trips where they'd watch sunsets paint the peaks in gold, whispering promises under starlit skies. "You're my wilderness," Jordan would say, his voice husky with emotion, pulling Alex close. In a world that still hurled slurs and sidelong glances, their love stood defiant, a beacon of authenticity. But beneath the surface calm, Alex wrestled with unresolved fury. Therapy had helped him forgive parts of himself, but Harlan's betrayal festered like an untended wound. Letters from distant relatives hinted at family secrets. Harlan's late-night absences during Alex's childhood, unexplained trips to San Francisco. Curiosity gnawed at him, leading to late-night searches online, uncovering forum threads from anonymous sources alleging the senator's double life. One crisp autumn day, while hiking with Jordan, Alex broached the subject. "What if my dad isn't who he pretends to be?" he asked, pausing by a rushing stream. Jordan squeezed his hand. "Then maybe confronting him isn't just about you. It's about freeing him too." The idea took root, blending justice with an unexpected compassion. Alex's advocacy work brought him into contact with a network of LGBTQ activists, including Mia Chun, a fierce lawyer from Seattle who'd relocated to Boulder. Mia specialized in family law and discrimination cases, her own story of coming out as bisexual in a traditional Asian American family, fueling her fire. Over coffee meetings, she became a confidant, encouraging Alex to dig deeper. "Truth has a way of unraveling empires," she said, her eyes sparkling with determination. Inspired, Alex hired a private investigator, a grizzled veteran named Frank O'Malley from Chicago, who'd moved to the Rockies for the fresh air. Frank's reports trickled in, grainy photos of Harlan meeting a man in discreet Denver bars, emails hinting at a long-term affair with a former aide named Lucas Grant. Lucas, now living quietly in Portland, had been paid off to stay silent. The revelation hit Alex like an avalanche. His father's abandonment wasn't just homophobia, it was projection, a desperate act to bury his own desires. Emotions surged, anger at the hypocrisy, sorrow for the wasted years, and a flicker of empathy for a man trapped in his own cage. "He destroyed our family to protect a lie," Alex confided in Jordan one night, tears streaming as they sat by the fire. Jordan held him, their bodies entwined in comfort that transcended words. "We'll face it together," Jordan promised, sealing it with a kiss that reignited their passion. As winter blanketed the mountains, Alex's resolve hardened. He began compiling evidence, working with Mia to build a case not for litigation, but for public reckoning. Meanwhile, his personal life deepened. Jordan proposed on a snowy peak, slipping a simple band onto Alex's finger. "Through every storm," Jordan vowed, and Alex echoed, "and every sunrise." Harlan's campaign gained momentum, his platform railing against threats to American families. Alex watched rallies on TV, his stomach churning at the crowds cheering the man who'd left him to die. But seeds of change sprouted elsewhere. Alex spoke at pride events in cities like Austin and Miami, his story resonating with thousands, turning personal pain into collective empowerment. One pivotal evening, Alex received a call from Lucas Grant. The man's voice trembled over the line. "Your father. He loved me once, but fear won." Lucas shared letters, confessions of a hidden life that mirrored Alex's own struggles. Armed with this, Alex felt the weight of generations, his mother's unspoken suspicions, his grandparents' rigid expectations. Jordan stood by him through the turmoil, their love a sanctuary. Intimate moments in their cabin, slow dances to old jazz records, shared baths where vulnerabilities were laid bare, reminded Alex of love's redemptive power. "You're not alone anymore," Jordan murmured during one such night, their connection fierce and tender. As spring thawed the snow, Alex decided it was time to return. He planned a confrontation at Harlan's campaign gala in Denver, where truths would shatter illusions. Mia prepped him legally, Frank provided backups, and Jordan offered unwavering support. The journey back wasn't just geographic, it was a reclamation of self. Nerves frayed as the date approached, but Alex drew strength from his community. Friends like Tyler, now a teacher in New York, sent messages of solidarity. "You've got this," Tyler wrote, a reminder of the innocent love that started it all. In quieter reflections, Alex pondered forgiveness, not for Harlan's sake, but his own. The wilderness had taught him resilience. Love had taught him grace. With Jordan by his side, he was ready to step into the light. The Denver skyline glittered like a promise as Alex and Jordan drove into the city, the gala venue, an opulent ballroom in a historic hotel, buzzing with political elite. Harlan's event was a showcase of power, donors in tuxedos, banners proclaiming "Family First," and a stage where the senator would unveil his vision for Colorado. Alex, dressed in a sharp suit that hugged his athletic frame, felt his pulse thunder. Jordan's hand on his knee grounded him. "We've built a life stronger than his lies," Jordan said, his voice a steady anchor. Inside, The air hummed with chatter and clinking glasses. Alex spotted Harlan immediately, taller than he remembered, graying at the temples, but still commanding with that charismatic smile. Flanked by his new wife, Vivian, and her children, Harlan embodied the perfect patriarch. Alex's chest tightened. This was the family his father had chosen over him. Slipping through the crowd, Alex approached a side table, heart pounding. Mia had arranged for him to have a ticket under an alias, and Frank lurked nearby with a recorder. As Harlan took the stage, his speech boomed. In these trying times, we must protect our values from those who seek to undermine them. Applause erupted, but Alex's blood boiled. The hypocrisy was palpable. During the Q&A, Alex raised his hand, microphone passed to him. The room fell silent as he stood. Senator Harper, Alex began, voice steady despite the storm inside. How do you reconcile your stance on family when you abandoned your own son in the wilderness for being gay? Gasps rippled through the audience. Harlan's face paled, recognition dawning like a slow horror. Security moved, but Alex pressed on. I'm Alex, your son. You left me to die because I loved differently. But I've survived, and I know your secret. He held up a folder, projecting images via a hacked screen. Photos of Harlan with Lucas, letters confessing his hidden sexuality. Chaos ensued. Murmurs turned to shouts. Cameras flashed. Harlan stammered. This is a fabrication. But the damage was done. Vivian's face crumpled. Reporters swarmed. Alex felt a mix of triumph and sorrow as his father was ushered off stage. Jordan pulled him into a side room, where they embraced. You did it, Jordan whispered, pride shining in his eyes. The aftermath was a whirlwind. Media exploded with headlines. Senator's son exposes hypocrisy. Harlan's campaign crumbled overnight. Donors fleeing, polls tanking. In a press conference, Harlan admitted partial truths, claiming youthful indiscretions, but the lie's foundation cracked. Alex retreated to their cabin, the confrontation's emotional toll heavy. Jordan cradled him through nights of tears, their love a balm. I'm proud of you, Jordan said, tracing patterns on Alex's back. Intimacy deepened, their bodies speaking languages of healing and desire. Calls flooded in, support from allies, vitriol from opponents. Mia handled legal threats, turning the tide with countersuits for abandonment. Lucas came forward publicly, his testimony adding weight. Harlan loved me, but fear made him a monster. In the quiet, Alex reflected on his journey. From a terrified boy in the woods to a man wielding truth, growth had been arduous. He and Jordan married in a small ceremony amid wildflowers, vows exchanged under the mountains that witnessed his rebirth. In your eyes, I found my home, Alex said, tears mingling with joy. Harlan reached out weeks later, a tentative email requesting a meeting. Alex agreed, meeting at a neutral cafe in Boulder. Harlan looked diminished, eyes haunted. I was wrong, he admitted, voice cracking. I was scared, of myself, of losing everything. Your mother knew. She urged me to be honest, but I couldn't. Alex listened, anger softening to understanding. You almost killed me, he said, but I won't let your fear define me. They talked for hours, unraveling decades of pain. Harlan revealed his own childhood repression, a cycle of denial passed down. Forgiveness came slowly, not absolution, but a bridge. Harlan stepped down from politics, dedicating time to advocacy, speaking at events with Alex. Jordan's family, inspired by the story, reconciled with him, attending a barbecue where laughter echoed. Alex's life bloomed. He founded a foundation for LGBTQ youth in rural America, turning wilderness retreats into safe spaces. In moments of doubt, Jordan's love reaffirmed everything. We're unbreakable, he'd say, pulling Alex into dances under the stars. Romance wove through their days, surprise picnics, whispered affections, a partnership of equals. As summer faded, Alex stood on a peak, overlooking the vast expanse. The wilderness no longer terrified, it symbolized resilience. He destroyed the lie, not with hate, but with truth's gentle force, proving love's ultimate victory. With the scandal's dust settling, Alex's world expanded beyond survival into purposeful legacy building. His foundation, Wild Hearts, gained traction, offering wilderness therapy for queer youth, blending nature's healing with emotional support. Volunteers flocked, including former foes turned allies, as stories like his inspired nationwide change. Jordan's role evolved too. He led programs at the foundation, his ranger expertise guiding teens through hikes that built confidence. Their partnership shone. Jordan's calm complemented Alex's fire, creating a dynamic duo. Evenings found them planning over wine, dreams intertwining like vines. Harlan's transformation deepened. He volunteered at Wild Hearts, sharing his journey in workshops, his vulnerability disarming skeptics. "I lost my son to my own cowardice," he'd confess, tears flowing. Alex watched with mixed emotions, pride edging out resentment. Family dinners became routine, Vivian and her kids warming to Alex, forging unexpected bonds. Romance flourished amid the busyness. For their anniversary, Jordan surprised Alex with a cabin getaway in the San Juan Mountains, where hot springs steamed under moonlight. "Every day with you is an adventure," Jordan murmured, their bodies merging in passionate affirmation. Love's depth grew, weathering arguments with grace, emerging stronger. Challenges arose, backlash from conservative groups, threats that tested their resolve. Mia's legal prowess shielded them, turning adversity into advocacy wins. Alex testified in D.C. for LGBTQ protections, his voice echoing in halls of power, a far cry from the abandoned boy. Personal growth continued. Alex pursued a master's in social work, balancing studies with life. Jordan supported him, cooking meals and offering massages after long days. Their home filled with mementos, photos of hikes, wedding rings glinting. A pivotal moment came when Tyler visited from New York. Old flames flickered in conversation, but Alex's heart belonged to Jordan. "You found your forever," Tyler said, hugging him goodbye. It closed a chapter, affirming Alex's path. Harlan's health scare, a mild heart attack, brought urgency. At the hospital, Alex held his hand. "I forgive you, Dad," he whispered. Harlan wept, promising to live authentically. Post-recovery, Harlan came out publicly, joining pride parades, his story amplifying Alex's. Jordan and Alex discussed starting a family, exploring adoption. "We'll give them the love we fought for," Alex said, envisioning futures. Intimacy peaked in tender nights, bodies and souls aligned. As fall painted the leaves, Alex reflected on his arc, from wilderness despair to triumphant return. The lie destroyed, truth prevailed, weaving a narrative of redemption. With Jordan, he faced tomorrow, unbreakable. Seasons cycled, mirroring life's rhythms, as Alex's story became a touchstone for hope. Wild Hearts expanded to multiple states, from California's redwoods to New York's Adirondacks, saving countless lives. Youth shared testimonials. "Alex showed me survival is possible." His book, From Wilderness to Wholeness, topped charts, royalties funding scholarships. Jordan's love remained the constant, their marriage a testament to enduring partnership. They adopted twins, Mia and Lucas, named for allies, infusing their home with laughter and chaos. Parenting deepened their bond, late-night feedings turning into whispered dreams. "We're building the family I never had," Alex said, watching the kids play. Harlan fully embraced his identity, remarried Lucas in a quiet ceremony Alex officiated. "You've taught me courage," Harlan told him, a full-circle moment. Family gatherings blended old and new, healing generational wounds. Dramatic peaks arose, a lawsuit from former aides, media scrutiny. But united, they prevailed, emerging resilient. Alex's speeches emphasized humanity. Love isn't a threat, it's our salvation. In a quiet epiphany on a mountain trail with Jordan and the kids, Alex felt profound peace. The wilderness, once a prison, now a sanctuary. He'd returned not to destroy, but to liberate himself, his father, and others. The conclusion wasn't an end, but a beginning. With Jordan's hand in his, Alex whispered, "We've conquered the wild." Their kiss sealed a legacy of love, proving that from abandonment's ashes, profound beauty rises. In America's heartland, one man's truth sparked a revolution, reminding all, authenticity triumphs and love endures.